Good noon mga ka-LunChat. Welcome mga Trailblazers. Welcome to USTP's very own LunChat, a bi-monthly online program airing every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. LunChat highlights the 7-point agenda of the university, which is coined as dynamic. Hello sa ato ang mga Trailblazers all over sa mga different campus of USTP, from Hasaan, Villanueva, Claveria, Cagayan de Oro, Balubal, Alubihid, Panaon, and Oroqueta. And of course, atong yummy treat, no, di nato na siya masiping natin i-feature nga something delicious or makaon sa ato ang program. Ang atong yummy treat karong udto gikan sa Hasaan, Misamis Oriental. Kini ang homegrown halo-halo sa usa sa mga sikat nga kananan sa Hasaan, and it's a must-try for everyone. Kaya ngano, naa sila special ingredient sa ilang halo-halo nga di gid mo makalimtan. Kana ang suman. Yes, suman. Nice suman ang ilang halo-halo. So you must try it kung wala pa mo kasulay. And if you go there sa USTP Hasaan, you can ask the people around there dito sa campus no kung asa magpatultol mo, asa makita ang halo-halo na dunay suman. So kung panahon sa tinginit, so refreshing ang ilang halo-halo and so delicious diha sa Hasaan. Halo-halo nga dunay suman. And of course, we have an exciting episode today as we feature the Cagayan de Oro Business Incubation, Technology, Entrepreneurship, and Startup or CDO b.i.t.e.s. O kana. Wailayan itong makauban, let us welcome the Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation for USTP, Engr Bronson Mabulay. Engr Mabulay, sir, welcome to LunChat.
Thank you, PJ, for inviting me here, and for your viewers, good afternoon.
Ayan, mga ka-LunChat, kung inyong naobserbahan, no? Wailain nga tibuo kayo og tingog diri sa USTP but si Engineer Bronson Mabulay. Sir, nag-DJ ka ba kaniyan to or doon na ka ba experience sa radio? Murag tibuok magayang yung tingog, sir.
Murag wala yun. Ambot na ako sa ning ano na inanin ni siya.
Sir, naghang mangutana sir, where did you get your name kanang Bronson? Sa ako ang mga kaedad makarelate ko. But sa mga younger generation, I'm not sure kung makarelate. But let's hear from you, sir. Asa ba nagikan ang imong ngalan nga Bronson, sir?
Exactly. It was from my father. No? He is a very big fan of Charles Bronson.
Ayan, action star nga American nga artista si Charles Bronson. Kaabot pa mi ana, sir. But the young generation, I'm sure wala na gid sila kaabot. Warm up pa lang to, Sir Bronson. Today, let's discuss kaning CDO b.i.t.e.s and how did this program start there is a USTP, sir?
Yeah, this is actually a program started with the UST Fisher. We kind of replicate this phenomenon on startups from Silicon Valley. That's the model we have. And we start to, I think the UST start to realize this, na in order for some companies, another view of starting a company from a technology point of view, why not have it start on universities? Because universities where you can find research, where you can find researchers also as experts, no? And that's a good gitawag nato og avenue for incubation of ideas. So diha mo incubator, because that's incubation of ideas. You have the expertise on the faculty, and you could have also the research output. But again, that would not be enough because that would just be a part of the mix or what we call this ecosystem sa startup. So, but again, at least that's the start, no? And as we grow ang CDO b.i.t.e.s on the 5th year na on operation, the first 4 years is actually sponsored by Fisher, funded. And now, on the 5th year, the USTP is funding this now. So it's very, tawag na to, it's more on trailblazing na because it's USTP's money. So how much we can have a report on the investment of USTP for this operation of CDO b.i.t.e.s and how much the companies incubated here can generate income kung atong tanawon ratio of the investment is equals to the output pa. Let's find out, Pana.
Sir Bronson, you mentioned nga trailblazing pila pa lang ka years kining CDO b.i.t.e.s ingon man kining mga startups diri sa ato as university, but to others murag dili pa kay sila familiar kung unsa ang startups. Others medyo nana sila idea, no, because slowly naana siya sa mga universities all over the Philippines. But what really is a startup, sir? Kung unsa ginay pasabot kung yung startup?
Yeah. To clarify on the term or the word startup, usually it came from on the industry of the technology side. So you have an idea that uses technology as a tool to solve a particular problem or to cater a particular need. So dili siya center a technology, but the technology is a means or a tool. And based on that technology as a tool, you start to create a business model coming out from that. No? Like for example, if you say hardware or technology, pwede, you would say on Elon Musk as he started to have those battery-powered vehicles or electric vehicle, he can sell that. That's technology per se is being sold. What's the problem being solved is it would help move down or reduce the carbon emission. While there are also technology as a tool, but the innovative part is on the business model. This is what we call kining ride-sharing app. The ones we have now experiencing, the Food Panda and the Grab Food. The technology there is the internet and the apps, but the innovative way of making money, that's why we call them startup as well.
Wow, that's good. No, that's good. There's a lot of things to learn kabayan sa startup. Sir, last year or was it this year that CDO b.i.t.e.s is shared Kabalikat University BI awardee. Congratulations on this. But how did you get this award, sir, for CDO b.i.t.e.s?
I'm not actually privy on the criteria being conducted by Fisher, but there was this meeting with Fisher where he tried to look around what's inside the university, including the laboratories that could be accessible for our incubatees, the expertise inside the university, and all of those internal, as well as I think they also look onto the ecosystem, the outside. Do we have enough investors within the region? Do we have enough pool of mentors from outside? Of course, the help of the business sector. So all of those being put together, and then perhaps I think they were able to come up with that award based on those criteria, I presume. Because in my opinion, that's how I would also rate a particular incubator with the help of the ecosystem.
So when it comes to incubators, sir, murag, you are helping companies nga they can build their own namudako sila with the you mentioned kanina the technology and innovation nga system. So sir, kung naay mga nagtanaw karon watching our program, naaslay grupo, they have an innovative idea pero wala sila kwarta, wala pa sila structure, wala pa sila mga maka-mentor gid sa ilaha, ang CDO b.i.t.e.s can help them.
Definitely. That's just like what we are doing now on our, as I mentioned, the CDO b.i.t.e.s is operating now under the funds of the university. So we are opening now to cohort number 5, the batch 5. And we're incubating actually 6 startups right now. So the stages of our incubation is actually 2 parts. The first part is what we call the pre-intubation, where this is a 4-week quick validation on your idea. How do you validate your idea is try to interview as much as targeted customers to really know that the solution or the idea that you're trying to build is something that the customer really wanted and paid for that. Because if you build something and then after 6 months of building that and then nobody wants to buy your product, that would be a very disaster for you. So that's a 4-week validation of your idea, and as well as, of course, you will not be able to talk to your customers if you don't have that prototype for what we call the minimum viable product or the MVP. So that's part of the 4-week pre-incubation. And once you pass that, you will now move on to the incubation stage. It's a 5-month long where a lot of mentoring, as I mentioned again, from the stakeholders, the ecosystem would coming in to help those startups.
So na ay mga experts, sir, mga mentor sa ila, mga successful po sila in their own way pag-build mga startups.
Correct, yes. That's part of the mentorship program on the incubation stage.
So in simpler way, sir, CDO b.i.t.e.s is helping katong mga small mga companies na naaslay mga gwapo nga mga ideas na they can come up with nasa mga innovative nga mga solutions sa mga problema sa unsa nga industry, and you can help them grow, no? It's inana nga pamaagi. Sir Bronson, sir, so dali ra ba makasulod sa CDO b.i.t.e.s nga maapil ka mahimo kang apil sa incubation program, or unsa bay mga needs nga kinahanglan, sir, to be a part of CDO b.i.t.e.s?
Yes, yearly we have this call for applications for teams or groups who wanted to start a company. Unfortunately for this year, we already filled up the slots, and on year 2022 probably we can open again after this cohort number 5. But there are some cases where we could accept walk-ins in the middle of the incubation period, but you have to be a very special one that will go a very rigorous scrutiny from our side, so that you could catch up on the incubation program.
Sir, you are now on batch 5 on the incubatees. Naabay mga success stories nga sa mga startup nga niagi og incubation diya sa CDO b.i.t.e.s, and let us know, sir, kung unsa na yung mga companies o unsa po ang ilang mga products o services ang ilang gi-offer.
Yeah, actually we have. If I name, there are already a notable 3 startups. Number 1 of that is the Willis Call System by the brothers, John Phil. And I believe from their revenue, I think up north 30 million peso revenue since the start of their company. And the
company ang startup, sir, nga katong naghatag sila mga online, sila nag-facilitate sa system online classes?
Yes, correct. That's one part. They were able to pivot or to adjust, not actually pivot, but take opportunity on that. So basically, I think they're offering more on the needs of the of a school, like the enrollment system and all of those back-end operations of a school. And during the pandemic, they were able to take advantage on the needs of those schools, which is the online classes. No? So the founders is quite innovative on that portion.
Napay uban, sir, unsa pang mga uban nga mga ilahang startup, sir, nga nag-one-stop naka rise up pagayo, sir, maayo pag take off po nila?
Yeah, we have also hyperstocks. They are more onto contracting on the software side, software development. And what the last I heard from Graham, they are now focusing on the fintech or the financial technology. So if you're not familiar with fintech, it's more on monetary transaction online. Like for easy understanding, I think you're familiar with Gcash, you're familiar with Maya. So those are the types of technology where you pay online, and you don't have to pour out some cash when buying things online. So those are what we call financial technology solutions, or in short, fintech.
So sir, kung sa usa ka startup kinahanglan ba gyud nga dunay dako nga impact sa society ang ilahang itukod nga company o kung na sila something nga innovate kinahanglan dako gyud impact?
Yeah, definitely. It should have meaning you should be desirable to your customers. And when we talk about customers, there are actually two major customers, meaning consumers. So if you want to go to, I think this is a perfect example for the Food Panda. When we say customers, the Food Panda is actually have two customers. We call this two-sided customers and business in Food Panda. On one side, you have the consumers, us, the people who wanted to buy food from the Food Panda. So kita ang customer. While on the other hand, another customer for Food Panda are the businesses. So we call that business-to-business type of model, where they will also get money from the businesses. So meaning, Food Panda is actually solving two problems from two different sets of customers. And usually, they are not the same types of problems. But innovatively, you were able to provide one solution for two problems.
Wow, that's good, no? Dako gyud siya impact, sir. Sir Bronson, I have some words nga gamit kay sa startups, and we would like our viewers to have an idea what it is all about, or ma-expound pa ba nimo in briefly. I will say the words, sir, then please provide a brief definition or answer. First word, sir, is pitching. So pasabot the pitching, usually ka-encounter nato sa atong conversation labi na sa mga startups.
Yeah, that's how you pitch your idea and your company, the product and your team to investors. That's one type of pitching. So you have to know your audience first, because when we say pitch, you have to sell your idea, and not only selling your idea to one particular stakeholders. You could be pitching to an investor, asking for their money, asking for their advice, but you will be pitching for customers or partners, and
Potential partners.
that's a different type of mindset as well, because you wanted to know what are the needs of these partners so that you will be able to sell your idea. So pitching is actually selling.
Selling.
I
think this is also part sa itong i-mention mo earlier, sir, the banner program for CDO b.i.t.e.s. Naani siya nga part ng pitching, which is, I think, the last part ba, sir, no? Pitching, when you sell your idea to the potential investors.
Yeah, we call that event is the demo day. Where the startups will graduate now from the incubator, from the incubation program, and having gone through those training and mentoring, we believe that they are now ready to pitch their company to potential investors. And probably there are two ways you could get from the investor: their money or their advice.
That's a good one. I think thrilling in a stage part no when you pitch to the investors. Second word, sir, is MVP. I'm sure dili gini siya pang basketball, sir, pero naay meaning ng MVP para sa startups.
Yeah, we call that minimum viable product. The term was coined actually from the lead startup book of Eric Ries. So, what do you mean by MVP? Some would always say prototype, or ang MVP ba is a product with only one function, or an MVP ba is, let's say, you start to build a more product, let's say a motorcycle. Ang unang i-build mo is ang chassis, and then ang manabila, and then the gulong. Matawag ba natin na siya MVP? Actually, the analogy nga mag-build ka og MVP katong ganina nga maghimo ka og chassis, the tire, and the monobela is not actually the path of MVP. We usually say the MVP as skateboard as a means of transportation, and then nahimo siyang bisikleta, nahimo siyang motorcycle, and then nahimo siyang car. So that's the progression of MVP. So when you say skateboard as a means of transportation, it's meaning you have to give a small amount of effort to create that solution, or let's say prototype, that really at the end of the day will solve your customer's problem. If a skateboard can do that, then that's your MVP. But as you grow your market, dili naman siya feasible ang katong skateboard. So probably you would graduate to a motorcycle because you could carry more load. So that's the progression sa imong product. So always start with the first product that after using, sa point of view sa imong customer, it will take away their pains.
Sir Bronson, ang mga startups ba, sir, can they avail of support also from the government? Although there is a USTP with CDO b.i.t.e.s, you mentioned earlier nga P-Shared nag-support before and then currently we're on our own. But mga startups ba, na can they get support from the government as well?
Yes. There is this law, the Philippine, the Innovative Startup Act. That's a law in the Philippines na they are having, led by the UST, and they are having this Philippine Startup Fund Grant, actually. So the term is Startup Fund Grant, where they are going to give a grant. When we say grant, wala siya equity na mabalik to the government. So it's just a help, a grant to bootstrap, or sorry for the term, to kickstart, to give an initial investment for the startup so that they could actually scale up. Because that's the problem with a startup right now. If the investment from your friends, from the angel investors, are just a very small amount, that would not be enough for you to scale up. And probably the government thinks that this 5 million peso or something will help these startups scale up.
Finally, sir, what your thoughts on the startup in the coming years, and mao na ba ni siya nakita nato nga solution or answer para makabangon natong economy, no? After the pandemic, the economy was down. Mao na ba ni ang solution, sir, nakita nato nga potential ng startups?
I believe so. That is one of the solution, and on the greater scheme of things, entrepreneurship really is the ones who will drive the economy. So regardless if it's a technology company or another type of company not focusing on technology as a tool or some means, I think that would still be good to boost our economy. But fortunately for our university, USTP, we are a science and technology university. So we embrace this startup because that is one of the strengths of the universities where we have faculty, we have research output, and we have also the facility where really startup can start, or a perfect avenue for startup to begin with. And second, as I mentioned again, we cannot live by our own, so we need to have an ecosystem. So we have a good ecosystem now in Cagayan de Oro. If some of us here are not updated, Cagayan de Oro is number 3 on the startup ecosystem on the whole Philippines. Number 1 Manila, number 2 Cebu, number 3 is Cagayan de Oro. So our ecosystem here for startup in Cagayan de Oro is improving. And next year, if we are granted by Fisher of this another funding, we could actually create a consortium in the region for startup.
Wow.
So in research, we have the Norman shirt, the NUM card, that's for research. But for startup, we have this consortium as well that we are going to establish on next year, granted that the UST Fisher grant us this another funding to build that ecosystem in our region.
Well, exciting times ahead, sir, no? Sa mga plans kung matuma na siya kanang consortium nga sugdan with USTP and CDO b.i.t.e.s. Thank you for your time, Engineer Bronson G. Mabulay, sir, the Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation of USTP. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. I know you're very busy with a lot of things, and we're just happy to have you to share the good news with everyone.
Okay, thank you, Sir PJ. And to the team of Stratcom, Ma'am Jen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Bronson. True to the university's mission and vision, the CDO b.i.t.e.s has given entrepreneurs the opportunity to maximize their business potentials from conceptualization to commercialization. This falls under letter D in dynamic, which is develop and implement strategies in fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. See you again next time, Trailblazers, in LunChat of USTP. Dalago ng Diyos.